This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
Alatau to officially open climate-resilient wharf next month. Betel nut to be controlled and regulated in NCD. And new community development building to be established in Esa Ala District, Milne Bay Province. A very good evening. This is National EMTV News. The newly built Alatau Wharf is a major development in the marine province of Milne Bay. As reiterated by the manager for the Department of Works in Alatau, William Vincent, the project was funded by the Asian Development Bank grants and supported by Climate Development Authority, DFET, and Milne Bay Provincial Government.
The Alatau Wharf is the first pilot project in PNG, which costs 37 million kina to build. Department of Works manager in Alatau, William Vincent, stated.
It's an opportunity for us in Milne Bay that this project had come to us, utilizing the climate resilience standards, and went out and a reputable contractor, an Australian company, the Pacific Marine Group.
The construction of the wharf started in September 2022 and took approximately 8 months to complete.
The first part of the project, which will be taken over by the provincial government, which is the wharf itself. It comes both a high deck and a low deck, which is the pontoon.
Being the largest maritime province in the country, this project is essential for the people of Milne Bay as well as visiting parties. According to Mr. Vincent, the wharf has been constructed to withstand climate change effects like sea level rise. Meantime, the project implementation unit in Milne Bay are working towards ensuring the project is launched on the 5th of July 2023. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
During the recent launching of 2 national fisheries-funded projects in Esa Ala District, Minister for Community Development Jason Peter was also present to participate in the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Community Development Centre in Esa Ala Station.
In 2019, the Department of Community Development came up with the initiative to establish centres in the 26 districts throughout the country. Minister Peter acknowledged the government for honouring their commitment in supporting this initiative to date.
I think so far we've built 4 community development buildings all across the country, and we're looking forward for new ones, and one of those is here in Esa Ala.
The purpose of this project is to cater for all social groups and programs within the community.
We're here to do a groundbreaking ceremony so that all these programs that we have within the department can be coordinated. Training can be done within the development center itself. So
the Department of Community Development looks forward to establishing its presence in all districts. Minister Peter says his department hopes to create effective programs that will benefit people in rural PNG. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
With the recent disorder in the Northern Province, a call for some form of collaborative efforts was raised by concerned community leaders. With that, provincial leaders, together with police and community leaders, have begun to work together in an attempt to curb lawlessness. The province will be hosting some events in the coming months.
With concerns raised by some community leaders in Ward 2 of Higaturu LLG regarding the illegal brewing and consumption of homebrew, the provincial government, together with police, have begun nightly curfews. According to the provincial police commander, Inspector Ewai Segi, this is a way to help police maintain visibility throughout the town and surrounding areas which are rampant in the brewing and consumption of homebrew. It is understood the province, through the support of the member for Popondetta Eben, will be hosting an arts and music festival in the coming months. Sporting activities and income-generating activities must be supported and encouraged by all sectors in the province. Northern Province being rich in food and culture, the provincial leaders must harness this potential and begin to plan activities that the youths can engage in. For now, the work of curbing law and order still continues. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
The new Hiri Koyari electorate of Central Province has plans to develop its Hiri Koyari City Authority to better address issues for its people. Hiri Koyari sitting MP Kit Iduhu made mention of this development plan during the City Mission's graduation ceremony over the weekend.
As the National Capital District continues to grow and expand its land boundary, the new electorate of Hiri Koyari is also making a firm stand to have a city authority in place to better manage its affairs. Member for the district, Keith Idu, said the idea of the city authority will be included in the 5-year district development plan for the district.
Because Port Moresby is growing into the city, into our district, more often than not, we are complaining. Central Province leadership always complains. And we say, Port Moresby is ours, this argument goes on that Port Moresby is ours, this is our city. But do not believe that Port Moresby is a constitutional process, Port Moresby is a city. Yes.
MP Idu highlighted the importance of a legislative framework to be put in place. He said the government has shown support towards district development through land tenure and tax collections for revenue.
And I think it's a way forward. And I'm blessed that Marper also government has this vision and is embracing this idea of Hiri Koyari City Authority, because then we will have growth that is guided.
He mentioned that while they cannot control the fast-growing pace of NCD, his district will be proactive in using the growing city for their advantage.
Land is not growing, land is shrinking, but our population is growing. So our leadership has to take vision and understand that, okay, if there's a demand, we be the supply. But the tax regime, the land process and the fiscal planning has to be done.
The need to develop the youth population is also a priority area that the district will be looking at, such as the City Mission. Hiri Koyari is one of the 7 new electorates created. It is an electorate in the Central Province. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
The IEA College of TAFE in Port Moresby has been continuously supporting to the Project Human Incorporation Program Walk program in Port Moresby. Through IEA's support, more than 600 students have been using the school facilities to undergo employability skills to help them transition from school to work.
To come to that fair.
Dr. William Padley, the manager for IEA College, says IEA is happy to engage with the students in helping them in job search after completing school.
Happy we are to be co-sponsors of this event, because it's all about what we are here to do in PNG, and that's get PNG youth into jobs.
He said it is important that students are supported and given opportunities in life.
But it's also giving them the confidence to have the right attitude to go into a situation and find their answers and show their employers how good they are and that they've got initiative.
What IEA is doing in partnership with Credit Corporation's sponsored program Project Work is to address youth unemployment in the country.
And I worry that even those 10,000 aren't being properly trained for jobs. We make them job ready. We give them work experience. So if you're looking for a job, come to TAFE.
Dr. Padley further mentioned that there will be a career expo on the 27th to the 28th of July at the IEA campus in Ella Beach for students to participate.
Where we're going to have our corporate people here, the College of TAFE will be here to put young people in touch with potential employers and show them how TAFE can help them get a job.
He mentioned that IEA will continue its support towards student education in the country. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. The National Capital District Commission has announced controlled regulation of betel nut that will shape the future of the capital city, which is also part of transforming the Boroko Central Business District and NCD as a whole. The major announcements made by Governor Powes Pakop at City Hall will take effect immediately.
The National Capital District Commission's vision to take back Boroko, in line with its long-term vision to create a clean, healthy, safe, well-planned, livable city, moved to the next level today, with the city manager revealing that Boroko CBD will be a betel nut-free zone.
One major steps taken to bring about this transformation is the move to make Boroko CBD betel nut-free zone. Betel nut is without doubt one of the major contributing factors to the untidy appearance of our city. So we have pondered long and hard, and eventually the relevant steps are being taken now.
Governor for NCD, Powes Pakop, stated that betel nut trading will be done in a controlled, regulated manner, with areas in the city earmarked for wholesale and the selling of betel nut. Tete Wholesale Betel Nut Market in the suburb of Geru in the northwest electorate of Port Moresby is one of the 15 designated areas in the city where wholesale betel nut trading is allowed. This fence here at Tete Wholesale Betel Nut Market represents the trading point where on the other side highway trucks that come from the Gulf province and Mekio and Kairuku come as early as 1 a.m. They converge here and they wait till about 6, 7 in the morning when Port Moresby residents flock to this venue to purchase their betel nut. Governor Pakop named 15 designated areas around the city which have been named as places where vendors can go to sell betel nut.
For Northeast, these are where these youths they can sell. Saiwara 9 Mile, betel nut market. 8 years, betel nut market. Wildlife, the market that we built, I think we spent about 4 million plus. No got line stuff here. You go long up, you like selling boy and making money. Go long up long wildlife market. You can go to 6 Mile wet market at the back of the small business center. Then Kipo market was built by Mosby.
According to the NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Silver Sika, police are now 100% behind the governor and the NCD Commission, and they will not hesitate to enforce the law.
I join hands together with Governor, my honorable governor, powerful governor.
Meanwhile, security to the Tete Wholesale Betel Nut Market for vendors and buyers alike has been guaranteed. Youths living around the area have taken ownership to keep law and order in check now that City Hall is keeping an eye on their operations.
Our community is to behave, no any other alcohol, no any other drug and still. They all things are banned. Mibla mol youth, mibla yet stop security layer, mibla yet look at him ogora something ba right. No around ba something ba o bagarap. Now when sambla no se mibla mangina board mibla sa biget leme mibla lusi mogora pasin mibla ba lugati mogora make you how je dem mol buy stop mibla ba lugati mol all ba go buy na all ba go safely.
President of Kutubu Local Level Government, John Pipikila, has been visiting his people in the Kutubu and Bosavi area, bringing vehicles, Lucas sawmills, outboard motors and building infrastructures to their doorsteps. He said the only way things will happen and for change to come about is to bring services to where the people are. Recently, churches in the area were supported financially to build new houses and church buildings. Recently, the president for Kutubu LLG, John Pipikila, visited Mano village in the Faso area to address some of the issues that people need help with. Whilst there, he met with the pastors of all the churches in the area to support the community. 20,000 kina was donated to assist the churches to build pastors' houses as well as the church buildings, as churches support the community and bring in other vital services such as health and education. The LLG President John Pipikila also visited Inu Mission Station in Lake Kutubu, an area that is believed that the first missionaries entered this part of the Highlands region through Inu. To support the work of the missionaries there who are serving the local communities, Provincial Sustainable Improvement Funds, together with the District Sustainable Improvement Funds from the provincial government under the Governor for Southern Highlands, William Powie, to Kutubu LLG President in charge, John Pipikila, supported the community with 20,000 kina to help Inu Catholic Mission.
Governor in Baluga in Southern Highlands, and plan the hub no Southern Highlands. Mino Nilo planning member you got Nipa Kutubu and plan the hub. Keep me, Mami work one them Logan SPA. Kutubu Special Papers Authority. When by work one them me, and by staff underneath me.
According to President Kila, as communities are faced with tribal fights, social issues and many other concerns, Mr. Kila believes churches are in a better position to bring peace and harmony into the community, and through the support of the governor, the community received 80,000 kina and will go towards building a new church building. In a recent media conference, President for Kutubu LLG, John Pipikila, says work has commenced on a 15 million kina council chambers. He said once the building is complete, it will house the councillors so that they can do their work and bring services to their communities. Almost a month ago, Kutubu LLG President John Pipikila launched the design of a new council chamber in Port Moresby, costing the construction around 15 million kina for the chamber to be built at Pimaga Station, where work has commenced. Mr. Kila has urged his people to support him and complete the state-of-the-art chamber for the Kutubu local level government that will serve the ward councillors and the community at large, where they can do their work and bring in much needed services into the community.
Also, I'm house man long for in a faso. I'm Sanablo here. I'm Sanablo. It's not workman or engineer, one of them, all balus in Port Moresby, now by Gondol Pimaga. Pimagana looking now start work tomorrow. Money me put in finish tomorrow by kickoff. Yes. All my losing Port Moresby. We don't blow me by working next week no tomorrow all bago come up Pimaga. So that's why me launching now. Money go finish for contractor.
He said if it wasn't for the Southern Highlands Governor William Powie, work of such infrastructure would not commence if it wasn't for his support. He thanked the governor, adding that the building, once complete, will help the councillors work in a proper office space and bring in vital services.
So this is a cost for display, and me put in Kutubu local level government council, one that me yet put in 5 million. So and me pay me go finish the contractor. Na cost long project, na sample building, na sample total cost and 15 million. Still stop yet. So Chamba, me go past one of Chamba and most 5 billion and come. So another 10 million come more long building Pimaga Station, na Chamba, na making big work come up long, take back PNG and also people like Pimaga come back.
John Pipikila said work is in progress to ensure that services are brought to the doorstep of the people. Other community projects that were also delivered in recent months to various ward councillors by President John Pipikila were transport vehicles, ambulance and outboard motors for communities to make access to health services, education and other community and government services easier. And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2810 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2735 $0.4064 Australian dollars, $0.2432 euro, 38.91 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York closed, gold is trading higher, Coffee closed lower, cocoa closed lower, copra closed lower, palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading higher and copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Still on the betel nut trade, and betel nut vendors from East Mekeo, along with PMV owners, have expressed their grievances to local MP Peter Isoaimo from the treatment they received from policemen from the Central Highway and NCD. In a forum held yesterday, the PMV owners alleged they have been assaulted and fined and continually harassed when they bring in their betel nut to sell in the city.
Villagers from Mekeo and Karaku are hard-working, peace-loving people who spend their lives in betel nut growing and selling. All year round, highway trucks from Route 600 to 300 make the journey on a daily basis to bring in the green nut in order to make cash for these villagers. Yet, according to Josephine Effie from the Barina Diocese, it is a dangerous journey.
They pick the women. We are the passengers on that vehicle. And we are always harassed on the vehicles when we try to get into HB, they have no bother to sell our betel nut. And we're always chased. And I feel fear that our PMVs are going to turn over. It's real. And I've screamed many times. And I just hope that this thing would come about like this. And I thank our PMV owners who have started this.
President of the Mekeo PMV Association, Peter Amo, shared his grievances.
For too long, unnecessary police personnel, police officers setting up 3 roadblocks on Hulitano Highway. Charging unnecessary, imposing unnecessary fines, 500 to 1,000 kina. As soon as that is settled, they release the PMVs to continue their travel.
In response, local MP Peter Isoaimo agreed with their grievances and called for owners to create a WhatsApp group so he, along with authorities, can be alerted in real time. He also revealed a petition has been signed and given to the Central Provincial Commander.
I am forwarding a copy to the Internal Security Minister, at least so some directives can be issued down the rank and file, so all these rogue policemen can stop what they're doing. That's all.
The people from Central feel marginalised and unsafe. Today, NCD Governor Powers Parkup was questioned on the situation, and this was his response.
This is the first time I've had this complaint, so I am looking forward to the petition. It's good that they bring forward their grievances so we can address it. If this type of harassment is been going on, I want to say that from the city we don't, support or endorse, or in fact we are against this type of harassment. Wholesalers from Central Province, Gulf Province are free to go to whichever.
The NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Silva Sika also had this to say on the situation.
The issue that you raised, that they're going to petition harassment and so forth. By our officers, we need to really dream down to see who is actually involved. I think our NCDC provincial boundary, probably it's the Loloki, I'm not too sure, Loloki Bridge. But if it's beyond, further towards Brown River, Sabusa, then that's Central Province. Police are doing it. But if they're doing within my jurisdictions, then I'll be accountable, and I will make sure that I will investigate, carry on it, conduct investigations.
Both the Governor for NCD and the NCD Metropolitan Superintendent have promised to look into the matter, and as the story develops, we will keep you updated. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
The Kairuku MP Peter Isoaimo is calling on the national government to urgently look at mending the 32-kilometre stretch of road from Aleki Swamp To the Berena turnoff to Upper Naipi in the Kairuku district. This road is in dire need of urgent repair and maintenance as the people of Kairuku and Gulf province use the road to travel to Port Moresby to access services as it is part of the Hiritano Trans-Tasman Highway.
Built during the term of the Chan Haiveta government, the Berena Upper Naipi Road serves the people of Macau in the east of Kairuku and the Gulf people. Kairuku Open MP Peter Isoaimo spoke of the road.
Hiritano Highway is a national asset. Whatever we may say and connect PNG and whatever else, I guess maintenance of existing highways is also equally important for us as a government to ensure we address these issues.
For the past 8 years, the local MP has been vocal about the road on the floor of Parliament. The road is part of the Hiritano Highway. Mr. Isoaimo expressed his disappointment that local contractors from the electorate did not get to work on the road.
The little contractors that I have, that I normally contract out the infrastructure maintenance works in the electorate, are now qualified to take on even subcontracts or contracts like emergency works. So that is the disappointment I have.
The section of the road that the Kairuku MP is talking about was last maintained in 2020. Since that time, the road conditions have deteriorated. The Kairuku Open member stated that while the Connect PNG program is beneficial for the nation, existing national highways also need to be maintained and upgraded. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
Moving to overseas news now, the United States Vice President has issued a statement saying that the recent turmoil shows that there are holes in Vladimir Putin's power.
Plenty of questions remain about the weekend's aborted mutiny, which resulted in Wagner mercenaries taking control of the southern city of Rostov-on-Don before retreating. The fighters are now on their way back to their bases after securing guarantees for their safety, while their commander, Yevgeny Prigozhin, will move to Belarus under a deal mediated by the Belarusian president. The US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, says the fallout will take months to play out.
This is clearly, we see cracks emerging. Where they go, if anywhere, when they get there, very hard to say. I don't want to speculate on it, but I don't think we've seen the final act. This has been a devastating strategic failure for Putin across virtually every front, economic, military, geopolitical standing. And this really is fundamentally an internal matter for the Russians. We're seeing it unfold. Again, we saw the rising tensions over several months that led to this. But exactly where this goes, we don't know. But what we do know is that we've seen real cracks emerge.
Dam failure warnings have been issued by the South Australian State of Emergency Services after 2 dams threatened to burst their tanks.
Pretty wet this morning, Karina. That wild weather that we experienced last week has continued right through to the weekend, and it continues to rain this morning. There are now 2 dams that are at risk of failing. The SES have issued flood watch and act warnings for both of those dams. They do sit on private property, the both of them. I'm in Basket Range in the Adelaide Hills. The SES have said that low-lying properties near Basket Range are at risk. That risk has reduced somewhat. The amount of water that is in that dam has been overflowing, and you might be able to see behind me the debris that the overflowing water has caused. The dam is located just to my right, up on top of a hill. And
the flu season is well and truly in Australia as the number of infections are climbing higher than usual around this time of the year.
So we've got to be very careful to make sure our health services can cope with the demand at the moment. We're seeing a number of respiratory viruses around the country. COVID, very important at the moment. The number of influenza cases is high, and lots of other respiratory viruses around as well. The surge seems to have begun early, and I think one of the issues is that a lot of people haven't perhaps got around to having a flu vaccination. That makes everything worse. So there's one bit of advice I've got. If you can possibly have a flu vaccination and you haven't already, go and get one. We know that flu can always be worse. This one really seems to be affecting younger Australians and children, and that's a problem because if they're affected, they spread it to other members of their family. So that makes things worse, and that's probably one of the reasons the flu season is so bad this year. But it's also freely available to have flu vaccination for children from 6 months to 5 years, and any Australian with an underlying health condition, older Australians, First Nations Australians, they're all eligible for a free flu vaccination, so we really encourage them to take that up if they haven't had one already.
You're watching National EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. PNG NRL will witness round 12 this coming weekend with teams to play in their respective venues come this Saturday and Sunday. The National Rugby League competition in the country following the round 11 matches now has 7 more regular remaining rounds before it enters into the grand final round. This coming weekend, teams will play in Port Moresby, while most of the matches will be played outside of Port Moresby on Saturday and a few matches in Port Moresby on Sunday. The National Rugby League competition this coming weekend will have 7 more rounds remaining before all the teams go into the elimination round, the quarter-final, the semis and the grand final to complete the 21 rounds of the competition before the top 2 teams take home the 2023 trophy and the winning title to end the season. This season again will witness 21 regular rounds and 3 weekends of grand final before the top 2 teams lock horns for the 2023 Premiership title. The PNG-dominated Melanesian team took out the Oceania Cup in Saipan this weekend with a total of 273 points from Melanesia, Australia and Micronesia. With the Pacific Games just 5 months away, many of PNG's athletes were in great form and many setting new personal best performances. Strong headwinds made fast times difficult for the sprinters. However, Leroy Kamau, Leonie Beu and Pius Whistle all recorded very strong performances. PNG's dominance of the sprint events was evident in the result of the men's 4x100 meter relay, where non-specialist sprinters Karo Iga and Daniel Baul combined with Kamau and Whistle to clock an outstanding 40.71 seconds, which is the 6th fastest time ever run by a PNG men's 4x100 meter relay team. PNG also won the mixed 4x100 meter relay, in which Edrin Monagi, Kamau, Beu and Whistle combined to run 43.05 seconds. And Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. Moving to overseas sport. In AFL, Collingwood has once again proved themselves the comeback kings, breaking Adelaide Crows fans' hearts for the second time this season in a thrilling 2-point victory.
They conceded 7 unanswered goals in the third term, and then they were trailing by 13 points at the final change. The Magpies managed to overhaul their opponents, posting a 12-10-82 to 11-14 80-point triumph at the G. It took some desperate defence and the clearance of a loose ball late in the match, close to Adelaide's goal, to seal the result in front of just under 66,000 fans. That win puts them back on top of the table with a 12-win, 2-loss record. Meanwhile, the Gold Coast Suns recorded an important win in their chase for a maiden finals berth. They got over the Hawks by 67 points.
In netball, West Coast Fever have kept their Super Netball title defence alive with a hard-fought 64-57 goal win over Melbourne Vixens at Perth Arena.
The Fever led by 6 goals early in the final quarter of yesterday's match, and they still led by 4 with 4 minutes remaining. However, the Vixens gave the home side an almighty scare after that. Kira Austin nailed a super goal, them having another attempt to level the scores with 2 minutes remaining. However, the Fever were able to remain resolute, and they will now face the New South Wales Swifts in next week's prelim in Sydney. The winner of that match will then meet the Adelaide Thunderbirds in the July 8 grand final in Melbourne, briefly before the Netball World Cup takes place in South Africa.
In cricket, Ash Gardner has spun Australia back in contention of the Ashes Test after a chaotic fourth day ended with England.
They're chasing 268 for victory. It was a dramatic fourth day at Trent Bridge. Australia fell from 1 for 149 to all out for 257 in their second innings after Sophie Eccleston fueled 2 separate collapses of 6 for 49 and 3 for none. Then, when England was sent in, they got away for a flyer in their pursuit of victory, and at one point it looked as though they could pull off the chase in a canter. They were none for 55 from their first 10 overs, but then enter Ash Gardner, taking a number of quick wickets which sparked an English collapse. She bowled really, really well. A couple of skied balls which the Aussies took advantage of. So now the match is very much in the balance, but I think the Aussies will like their chances going into the last day.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Moniplus, with you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby partly cloudy, then possible morning fog. Daru partly cloudy and windy. Kerma partly cloudy with possible patchy rain. Alatau partly cloudy with possible brief showers. Popondetta partly cloudy with possible showers. In the Momase region, Ley, cloudy periods with few showers. Medang, cloudy periods. Wewak and Vanimo, cloudy periods with some showers and possible thunderstorm. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, cloudy periods with some rain showers and possible thunderstorm. Kavieng and Buka, cloudy with few showers. Kimbe, cloudy periods with some showers. Kokopo and Rabaul, cloudy periods with some possible brief showers. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, cloudy periods with few showers, then morning fog. Goroka and Kundiawa, partly cloudy with few showers, then morning fog. Mendi and Wabeg, cloudy periods with patchy rain at times, then morning fog. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border to Daru to Kiwai Islands, to Kerema to Port Moresby, to Hood Point to Samurai Islands, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Samurai Island to eastern and western Milne Bay Islands to Cape Vogel, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters north of Cape Vogel to Yuen Gulf to Finschhafen, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Finschhafen through VTS Dampier Straits to Siasi and Long Islands to Karkar and Manam Islands, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Long Island to Medang to Bogia to Wewak to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters of New Ireland to East New Britain and Bougainville, seas 2 to 2.5 meters. Waters of West New Britain, seas 2 to 3 meters. Taking a look at the ocean forecast, Coral Sea sees rough to very rough southeast winds of 25 to 34 knots. Solomon Sea sees rather rough to patches rough, southeast winds of 15 to 25 knots. Bismarck Sea sees rough to very rough southeast winds of 25 to 33 knots. And Pacific Ocean sees light to moderate southeast to southwest winds of 10 to 20 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Monday, the 26th of June 2023. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.